That just work.
Oh, yeah.
Doing the whole hour. It's like, that was good. And nothing.
Tragic.
Alright, are you nervous?
Yes.
Well, we're going to start off with a little TMI. If you're nervous, don't do anything. Make sure you use your restroom for it. Just, FYI.
I did it.
Helps calm down.
Think it
I
all
hear.
fucked up.
Let me see. So, today is January 27th. I'm here with Stephanie Murray. You may know her as your mom, your daughter, your friend, co-worker. What else are you? Yoga gym instructor. A lot of hats. I am Jonathan Murray, and you may know me as Stephanie Murray's mother.
That is not true. AKA carpenter, genius.
I do a lot of things. I'm into a lot of shenanigans. Okay, so we are the hosts of a couple of singles podcast, and this is episode number 1, if you have not already ascertained.
Numero uno.
It may or may not be recording right now, I have no idea. I have this hand on a pen, and this hand is like that over the table. I'm just poking my words. I think it will. By episode 3, we're going to be professionals. So, I'm not going to get too far in depth as far as ourselves off the bat. However, why are we doing this?
We are doing this because we love people, and we know that a large part of relationships. It's all a work in progress, honestly.
Yes.
It's a journey. Hopefully by the end we've accomplished that, because it's very important. So we love people, we love relationships, and also we hate dysfunction, and so we want to be two voices to champion relationships, all kinds, not just romantic. We want to talk about parent-children relationships and
coworkers.
Yes, friends, enemies, all the things. I think that it will be really helpful to hear about relationships in a positive way, and also give people a way to have conversations and to start conversations, because I feel that that's one of the major things that prevents good relationships, is a lack of having good conversations. So.
Yeah, and another thing too, speaking of conversations, one reason why you might ask, why are you doing another podcast? There's like 1,000 of them out there. And especially on relationships. Well, one is because there's some garbage advice. Garbage advice. Completely just trash. And it's like, and they'll tell you while they're telling you, this is what I did, and it was a complete disaster, and hey, you should try it. It's like, no, let's not do that. So, one reason we're doing this is just to get at least some good advice out there. From our own experiences and other people we have encountered who have had success in different areas. And hopefully, usually things that change in my life are like one sentence. So I'm not expecting a whole hour of content to apply to your life in particular, but maybe one sentence I say or one sentence my sister says will help you in whatever situation you're going through. And a lot of times you only hear what you need to hear. So I may say something 100 times and you won't need it 99 times, but that one day you need that advice. Hopefully one day I'll say something that you need and we can change the situation. I might talk like I know it all, but I promise you I don't. I just don't like when people talk weak, so I don't talk like that, and so I come off as a know-it-all. which annoys some people. I mean, it is what it is. However, I have been humbled, I should say, by a lot of my mistakes, and hopefully my humility leads into my conversations moving forward. However, I don't say things I don't mean, and nowadays you have a lot of people who are, what you call it, talking, they're hedging their bets as they're talking. They're kind of like,
Yes.
just in case it doesn't work out, I'm not going to say it with too much conviction.
Right.
And that's become a norm. I don't like hearing that, so I wouldn't talk like that either. So hopefully I don't offend too many people. However, I'm not going to go out of my way to coddle feelings and stuff. I just have to get to the point. I have a sense of urgency about this because I see so much damage going on. And I also have a sense of urgency because I have a niece and nephew who are 16 going on 17 and 13 going on 14. So we're going to have some interesting conversations off the mic. So we got to get some stuff right, Next generation has to do better than this generation. Again, there are people who have awesome, healthy relationships, and people who are good people who just don't have the toolkit. And they're just passing on information. That's really all it is. Again, the crux of all this is we love people, and we don't want to see unnecessary suffering just because of lack of information.
Exactly. And I would say that both of us have definitely been humbled, and I'm glad you brought that up. So we are coming from a place of vulnerability, honesty, and also we have a really powerful network of people that we know and that we do life with, that we will share things that we feel are relevant while also respecting the people in our lives. If they're not physically here speaking on their own behalf, we really do care about that. So
I'll try my best.
Yeah, so I'm
not going to go out of my way. I'm not going to be malicious. However,
no.
You know who you are.
Oh my God.
You know who you are. Second shift, you know who you are. Okay.
That's funny.
Yeah, it's all good. It's all love. So, instead of the traditional, if there is a tradition, of going in and talking about ourselves, introducing ourselves, going through a history of our lives, we're going to start right smack dab in the middle of a problem. And the best way that I've seen, or one of the best ways I've seen to articulate problems is to look at artwork. Artwork requires you to distill life experiences down into their most essential parts. And so if you have a song, you have, say, 16 bars to get your point across. You have artwork, you have a certain canvas size and medium that restricts your expression, and so it makes you say, what do I have to say, not what do I want to say. And the good songs that we remember for the rest of our lives are the ones who distilled an idea or experience down to its essential parts. And since we're talking about relationships, this song I heard years ago kept coming back to mind, and I just remember listening to it and like, wow, that's a very potent conversation, a very potential conversation we could have if we sit there and dissect the lyrics instead of just listening to the song. Is that your first time listening to it when I sent it to you?
I know there was 3 that you sent me. I know I've heard one for sure. I think it was the last one. This particular one, I don't remember ever hearing this song before.
Okay, so this is, so if you're watching this or listening to this, you might want to pause and go to YouTube. And on YouTube, you're going to search a song by the Civil Wars, and the song is called Devil's Backbone. So you'll go to YouTube, type that in, watch the music video. I think it's like 3 minutes long, something like that. And then you'll kind of have a little bit of context for what we're talking about. But what we're going to do is just go through the lyrics, kind of line by line, whatever, paragraph by paragraph, and pull out some of the concepts and just talk about how that particular song articulates not just the songwriter's experience, but female experience and relational experience going on right now.
Yes, I think this was a great choice to do because a lot of people listen to music, and even with comedy, if you think about that when you're talking about art,
Right.
you're able to get some really powerful truths in a different medium and still have a really great conversation.
Right.
And hopefully, if mindsets aren't where they should be, they can be, tweaked and go in a better direction. So I definitely, yes, this song, like you said, was potent. Absolutely. Absolutely potent. So I'm excited to get into it.
Yeah, there's it's a distillation process where you're kind of boiling it down, and only whatever it is comes to the surface.
Yes.
I think a lot of times we miss out on the powerfulness of a person or a situation or even like an experience because you never sit down and like boiled it. You never like put it in the fire and let whatever it is come to the surface. You know
So
what I mean?
good. Absolutely.
I think all of us have power in us. It just hasn't had the chance to distill all the way. It's just kind of mixed with everything else that we are.
Yes, absolutely. And I feel like, in training that we've gone through where it talks about once something gets squeezed, whatever it is comes out.
Right.
And so I think that's the same thing with that that heat or that pressure.
Right.
It's going to bring out what's truly there. And so I never thought of a song or 16 bars as that kind of process, and it actually makes perfect sense.
Yeah, because you can't do 15, you can't do 18, you gotta do 16.
Yes.
Just keep everything in time. And it's like, okay, if this is all I have, what do I actually have to say to get my point across?
Right.
And that, like, weeds out all the noise. Some songs are still noise, let's just be honest. But, hopefully, you have something that's, it has no fat on it. It's really trim, it's really lean. It's just to a point.
Substance, yes.
It's just a substance of it.
Love it.
So this group, just to give you a little background, as far as I know, I'm not like all into them, but it's a great duet group. It's a man and a woman, and they sing kind of like folk music. It's not country, I think they classify as folk.
I would say so.
And very, just the way that they harmonize, when you hear the song, you'll know that kind of chemistry doesn't happen overnight. And what was ironic about this is that, so I'm a word guy. I'm a word nerd, if you will. And it's interesting to have the words civil and war right next to each other. It's just kind of hilarious to me. What do you call it?
Oxymoron. Absolutely.
And it's like, if you think about a civil war, beyond the obvious carnage of it, it's kind of like, it's almost like the humor and tragedy kind of mix. You know what I mean? Where you have, hey, I can't stand you and I want to take you out forever. However, do it civilly. You know what I mean? Like, hey, there's still rules to it. We're at war and I want you to die. However, let's be civil about this. You know what I mean? It's just a strange combination of words. However, that happens all the time. And especially in relationships, and it's not just romantic relationships, obviously. However, we have this kind of not code of conduct, but rules of engagement, if you will.
Right.
Where we know we're going to argue eventually, and I'm going to say some things that may hurt your feelings, you may say something that hurt mine. However, we're not going to cross a certain line. That's our rules of engagement.
Right. Well, hopefully there's something that exists like that.
Exactly. And that's what I wanted to get to, is because a lot of times we have the rules of engagement in our mind, but it's not in our partner's mind.
Right. It's not expressed.
It's not expressed. And when they cross that line that you never established, you're like, well, what happened? You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So it's actually, if you actually analyze the American Civil War and any Civil War, it didn't happen one day. It was gradual crossings of a line, some which were established and some which weren't, but all of which were not respected, and it turned out to become a war. from civility to war. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. I was thinking even those unexpressed expectations
Right.
are exactly what starts wars.
Exactly.
Or, like you said, disrespected. So I would say both of those are a combination that is always deadly.
Yeah. And a lot of times in childhood, if you, because there is such thing as a good childhood and a bad childhood, right? If you have a good childhood, hopefully you are going through a series of small battles that are equipping you to go through the mouths of adulthood without returning to a war. And what I mean by that is,
very good.
At some point in time, someone's going to kick you while you're playing soccer, and you're going to think it's a little intentional, right? And you're like, what's that? And it's like, oh, it's an accident. It's like, yeah, but this is the seventh accident you had this game. So how accidental is your accident, right? Like,
right.
What are you talking about here, right? And you're 5, you're 6, whatever, and you have to figure that out. Because that same little incident is giving you exercising the muscles, emotional muscles that help you not get into road rage when you're 16. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Because back in the day, you had road rage, you get out, you fight, get back in the car, drive off. Nowadays, they'll run you off the highway in front of the police. They don't care about none of that. So it's like the interpersonal muscles and skill set is essential nowadays.
Absolutely.
There's no humility nowadays. So inside the house, outside the house, kid, adult, every relationship you have needs to have some kind of toolkit to help you navigate this.
Absolutely. I like how you talk about childhood because it really does start there.
Yeah.
And our heart definitely goes out to people that had a terrible childhood, and that evil and hurt and pain was normalized and was the way of engagement.
Right.
And we definitely have hearts for people. Our hearts go out to people that have experienced that.
Right.
And
I'm glad you mentioned that because when you're having a conversation, one thing you should articulate to your audience is, and I would say our audience is people who want to do right but don't know how to do right.
Yes.
And people who have done right but got burned and need some encouragement to do right again.
Yes.
Because a lot of times, even though you do the right thing, it doesn't always guarantee that you get that back. However, one thing we'll talk about in future episodes is you can't allow those setbacks to erode your soul to the point where you no longer want to even try to engage with other people civilly.
Civilly, right.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Because that's what the ultimate goal of that those defeats are, is to weigh you down to the point where you don't even want to try anymore. And I think that's the fatigue is what you're addressing.
Yes. The scripture says not to be weary in well-doing. Yes. And I think that that's definitely, I've had conversations with people over the last year and talked about relationships and been excited about it. And people are like, oh, I don't have that mindset. Like, why are you excited about it? What's so good about it? Gloom and doom. And I'm like, what? Why? It doesn't have to be that way. Even like you said, if you have been burned, if you have been disappointed, if you have been hurt, it's still worth it, So I think that that's definitely a message that people are going to hear through all of there's going to be a message of hope.
Yeah.
And we're not just going to talk about the problem. We're going to also share some solutions. And I think that's really going to be encouraging. So,
yeah. So let's get into it. Let me see. So again, this is Devil Is Not Known, a song by the Civil Wars, and I like the first line after the song is, oh Lord, what have I done? I've fallen in love with the man on the run. So those are the first two lines, right? If you pull that apart just a little bit, you could say that the first two, oh Lord, is just an expression. Right? Because people say all the time, like, good God, or golly, or goodness gracious, or something like that. Well, it's just an expression. You're not addressing God, however, you're invoking the fact that something's going on out there, and the situation requires some kind of explanation. And I'm just going to say, just turn a phrase about one situation, however, I'm not actually talking to God. But if you go to the third line, it says, oh Lord, I'm making you please. Don't take that sinner from me. It's like, oh wait, she is talking to God.
Right.
Wait, what?
Plot twist.
Yeah. So this question, we're having a prayer meeting right now, and now we're getting into it from a jump. And I mean, I think the first time I heard the song, I'm like, wait, what? What happened? And the honesty is what got me.
Yes.
Like this whole song, it's just honest. And I'm like, huh. So again, if you listen to it, you might, I feel like that kind of music, you'll enjoy it just because it's a good song. However, if you kind of break it down a little bit, it's like, wow, this is almost like a microcosm of like the whole situation. I've heard rap songs like this. I've heard country songs like this. I've heard rock songs like this. Right? So it's not a genre, an age group, or a person. It's a mentality that is permeating throughout our whole generation.
I agree. When I heard this, I was thinking of when you think of a man on the run, just that one thought process is the fact that this woman has fallen in love with someone that is not stable. And when you think of the nature of women, usually they're wanting to connect with somebody that's stable. And so I think that was one of the first things that really came to mind, is that she fell in love with somebody that was unstable. And how does that, how it made me think, how did that happen? You know what I'm saying? So it definitely made me think that, how does that happen with women when that's against our peace of mind? Is to fall in love with someone that is unstable. And what was really coming to me is, a lot of times I feel like we fall in love with people we don't know. Because we're too much in a rush.
So you're saying that he is a outward manifestation of how she feels on the outside.
Yes.
So inside of her heart, she's run too. However, he's run from a wall.
Yes.
And she's attracted to the same exact thing.
Yes.
Interesting.
It's like they're attracting an instability. You know what I'm saying? So it's like she's rushing maybe to be loved, maybe to be married, maybe to have children. You know what I'm saying? Rushing to stop being the bridesmaid and be the bride. Just these different internal things. Because I know growing up, I always, by this age, I want to have this. By this age, I want to have that. And even thinking about that whole mentality of faster, of by this age, this needs to have happened. And how detrimental that can be when we pursue things before we know what they actually are.
It's like a restless soul attracting a restless person.
Yes.
And you're, after the log is wrong, the snowball effect starts happening. You're like, hey God, can you stop that for me real quick? It's like, I mean, think about how mad the situation has to be when you're calling on divine intervention. You know what I mean? Because usually, women in this situation just let them out of jail, right? That's what happened before this song got written. Right. She mailed him out of jail a couple of times because she thought he's just a guy who just got in trouble. Let me take my paycheck and mail him out of jail 1, 2, 3 times. And then the judge told this same guy, "Oh, guess what? Usually 3 strikes are out. You're on strike 7, so 8 strikes are out. How about that?" And guess what? He did what he does, and now he can't go back to jail again. So now he's on a run. And now, guess what? You're on the run with him. You know what I mean?
Right.
And now I need divine intervention. I can't cook him. I can't cook him a meal that's going to make him righteous. I can't have sex with him to make him righteous. I can't take him to any churches that make him righteous. I can't talk to him. All this other stuff that we do.
Can't have a kid with him.
I can't have a child with him to make him righteous. Now I'm going to call on God. Because she's on the run. And I'm still in love. It's just like, this is now a divine situation. and some intervention. You know what I mean?
Right.
And it's interesting because the what do you call it? What's the word I'm looking for? The crux of the issue is that she's praying for him and he's not praying for himself. Because a lot of times you can be trying to save a guy or a man
doesn't want
or
to be
whoever
saved.
who don't.
Whoever.
He likes to be on the run. He's enjoying himself. He's like, yeah, you know what I mean? Shooting out the window, swerving in traffic. He's having a great time, and you're like,
Right.
God, can you help this? Help this man I fell in love with on the run. It's like God looking down from heaven, like, oh, he's good. He's straight.
He don't need me.
Yeah, he's having a good time. And we're like, hey, God, can you help him out? And he's like, he don't need my help. You know
Right.
what I mean? And I remember, and I mean, this is one of those situations where, again, you're out, they're throwing at God trying to get something taken care of, and God has to tell you the truth. And I remember older woman in the church that we went to, she was praying for a nephew or son, my situation similar to this, and God told her, your prayers are keeping me from correcting him the way he needs to be corrected and changing the way he needs to change.
Man, that was such a deep thing when she shared that with us. It was like, I remember a message from Sister J, get out of the way.
Right.
And it's that same thought process that we can actually call ourselves loving someone and we actually prevent them. And that's even what I was talking to someone about last year is, am I truly loving my son or am I preventing some consequences that he needs right in order to mature and become who he's supposed to be? And so I love how you brought that out, that until that person is sick and tired of being sick and tired themselves, then there's only so much, which I believe we should do every single thing that we possibly can. And at the end of the day, though, it is a personal choice.
Right. Well, I mean, all this really does come down to balance. And as far as me and you go, I'm a type, like, I don't even get to strike 3. I'm like that strike 1.5. Because I'm like, because my mind goes, I see patterns. You're going in some direction. You want to go in that direction. Why am I going to stop you? I ain't going to hold you. Right? It's like, it is what it is. So you're at strike 1.5. I'm kind of like, all right, bye. You want to do X, Y, and Z, go ahead and do it. Your side, you're on like strike 27. And again, I'm out of balance because my fuse is too short. You're out of balance because your fuse is too long. So the one who knows what that balance should be is only God, right? So before I cut a person off too quick, I should pray. And before you give them too long of a leash, you should pray.
Absolutely.
And then that is what actually gives us the balance. That's the governor on our choices and our decisions.
Right, where we're actually loving people and not rescuing and or judging, I guess.
Yeah. And I think the default, though, should be on your side where you're giving them more than they you think they should deserve or whatever. However, I'm talking just about my own temperament, and that's just kind of how I am. But being self-aware, obviously, you have to make some modifications to your own temperament. You don't just give me who you are. That's just who I am. It's like, okay, is that good or bad? It doesn't matter if that's just who you are. Is it serving good or is it not, right?
Right.
I remember a few times I looked up one day, I'm like, I don't have any friends. It's like, why is that? I don't have any close relationships. Why is that? Because your leash is like that long. You know what I mean? And it's like, and this is what's crazy though, is that leash was that long for strangers and close relatives and whatever else. It's like that long for me.
Man.
That's what you don't get sometimes, is that even though I was angry, short, whatever else, with someone else, I was that way with myself way worse than I ever treated anyone else.
Wow.
That's what, remember when you talking about her at the beginning, like, your
Right.
restlessness side, you
Is
attract
attracting.
restlessness. My reach was small because I felt like that's how God reaches with me.
Man.
So I'm like, I'm on a short leash with God, you're on a short leash with me, that's just what it is. That's all the story is selling, is short leashes. We all got a couple inches. So stop screwing around, you know what I mean? And however mean or whatever you're going to call it, I was to someone else, I was 1,000 times worse to myself. And that ends up manifesting in certain different ways too.
I keep hearing about that.
Yeah.
Like, and we've probably heard it 1,000 times, and regardless, it's 1,000 times true that how we love others is how we love ourselves. You know, how we love ourselves is how we love others. And how we perceive God's love is how we love ourselves and how we love others. And so it's just incredibly important to truly have that conversation with ourselves as soon as possible.
Exactly.
Because I know when I was younger, I was not very reflective. And so when I'm reading the lyrics to this song, I think about, you know, you hope that this is a younger woman that hasn't been as reflective as she should have been.
Yeah.
And that this hopefully is a lesson learned. You hope that. And so that's this. When I was reading the lyrics to the song, I really identified with myself when I was a younger woman and how unstable and unsettled I was.
Yeah.
And absolutely, that's what I attracted into my life.
Yeah. Definitely. Okay, so we're at line 4. Let's see. Oh Lord, what have I done? I've fallen in love with the man on the run. Oh Lord, I'm begging you, please, don't take that sin from me. Don't take that sin from me. And then we go into, second stanza, which it says, oh Lord, what do I do? I found for someone who's nothing like you. He's raised on the edge of the devil's backbone. Oh, I just want to take him home. Man, I love this song. It's like, what are you talking about right now? This is crazy. And again, the honesty of it is just amazing because you're like, she's acknowledging that he's crazy. And also, she's like, I love crazy so much, I'm going to take him to not just like a righteous person, but the most righteous, right? Because you're talking to God. And you're like, I'm going to take this man who I admit was born on a devil's backbone. I'm going to take him to church, and hopefully you clean him up enough to where my love of him isn't as detrimental to my future as I know it's going to be. You know what I mean? I know it's going to suck. I know this is a horrible decision. I know this is not good. However, I love him. And hopefully you can do something with that. So the consequences aren't there. You know what I mean? Well, again, you said it comes back to your childhood. Where is he raised at? The devil's backbone, aka Hell's Kitchen, if you want. If you want to go. And it's like, how else do you think he's gonna turn out exactly? You know what I mean? Because I've read stories and listened to podcasts and read books about former mobsters and all that kind of stuff. They were doing that at 7, 8, 9, 10 years old. What do you think they're going to do? Like, there's like a hitman for a mob. Oh, he has 50 wives that he married somewhere. It's like, well, he was fighting for his life or killing someone as a teenager. What exactly do you think he's going to do?
Right.
You know what I mean? And again, some of these people who did some crazy, crazy stuff had families, like whole families. Kids that they loved and loved them. They were doing atrocious stuff from 9 to 5, and then came back home and was just a great father. Like, what? How does that come?
It's, when I think about this, it's just so important to have healthy families, to have healthy upbringings. And when I think of this, we connect with people through their stories.
Right.
And so for her to even know that he was born, you know what I'm saying, or raised on the edge of the devil's backbone, it's like, another thing that we have to realize is that we fall in love with people's stories too.
Oh, wow.
You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
Because that's the only way she had compassion for him.
Mm.
Like, I think he's deep down inside.
He's a good man.
I think he's a good guy.
Yeah.
You know, he just started off wrong. And I'm not saying we shouldn't have that compassion.
Yeah.
Also, does that mean fall in love? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so I think that was just a huge thing when I think about that is I absolutely am a very empathetic person, and I would fall in love with people's stories.
Yeah.
And at the same time, I would not realize that how they were raised, it shaped their mindset, it shaped their heart, it shaped their perception of the world. It shaped every single thing about them.
Yeah.
How they think of themselves, how they think of other people, how they think of women, men, children, money, working, God, every single thing.
Yeah.
How they were raised shaped them.
Yeah.
And I never acknowledged how much of a miracle, how much of a how much of a process it is to truly be transformed and to truly be repented. You know what I'm saying? That is such a huge process, and I had no idea what that looked like, what that took, the time, the energy, the revelation, the commitment to it, the uncomfortability of it. It was just that whole one desire to be loved or to be in love or to love or for a family or a relationship or whatever it may be that was more important than considering what it would really look like in order for any of that stuff to even happen.
Right. And two things from what you said. One was, you said the time it takes to heal. Like, that's the biggest part right there. It's like, it's going to take a while. You know what I mean? The one getting healed and the one waiting for you to get healed, both of them understand it's going to take a while. That's the huge part. Because I'm not sure exactly how this got into our generation's mind state. However, I don't remember our parents talking about time this way or our grandparents talking about time this way. I just think it's around that time. It's always like thinking about the next generation or what steps you're taking to make sure the next generation is good, or what plans you have in the future, and you know there's something ahead of you and you're moving towards it. Our generation and the ones subsequent are always like, I'm not sure how much time I have to do this, and that, and you only live once, and I'm going to live in the moment and that kind of stuff. It's like, well, what is the time factor into it? Because you're making decisions that are going to affect you for the rest of your life, but you don't act like you have that long to live. You know what I mean?
Right, that YOLO type of mentality.
Yeah, and you'll for one benefit is that you'll take the risks that you know life isn't going to take them. However, one detriment is that you'll take risks that you know life isn't going to take them. You know what I mean?
Right.
And so you're sitting there at 25 years old, and you didn't think you were going to make it 25 years old. However, here you are, you know what I mean?
Right.
And I was like, man, I'm behind the 8 ball because you were in a future that you never envisioned. And now you have to sit there and figure it out, you know what I mean? And at the same time, you're trying to be in relationships with people while you're still in that kind of like a purgatory situation. You know what I mean? Like kind of walking around in circles.
Yes, absolutely. Those cycles. And like we talked about prior to this is saying what would happen if that person sees error.
Yeah.
In being raised on,
on
the devil's backbone.
Exactly.
What if that person's like...
Yeah. Like, gang. Like,
right. I was going to say thug life time.
It's like they're sitting here like, oh yeah, here's my Devil's Backbone tattoo. It's like, no, you're not supposed to be, what are you talking about right now? Stop doing that. No. You know what I mean? But they're sitting wrecking the the whole situation. You're trying to get mad at it. It's like, that's exactly what you have to figure out. So, you're talking about solutions we were starting. Here's one solution, or one way to start finding a solution. If you're talking to someone who has childhood trauma, and they tell you about it more than once in 2 weeks or a month, they don't want to heal from it. It's that's the story that they're reciting to you and to everyone else to justify where they're at and why they do what they do. So I promise you, if you stay with them for 6 months, you're going to hear it about 10 more times, because you're reciting it over and over again to re-establish why they are who they are, why it's everyone else's fault, and why they don't have to change. It's not a call for help.
Wow.
It's not a call for help at all. It's them trying to remind you and themselves of why you have to treat them a certain way and why they get to do whatever the hell it is they're doing. That's what that is.
Amen.
Because at some point in time, you should get sick of your own trauma, and then you start your healing process. If you keep repeating the worst story that ever happened to you over and over again, it's not even a pain point, because you keep bringing it up. It's just a establishment of that pain, so that you can tell everyone around you why you're a victim and why you are the way that you are. It's like, oh, my dad left that when I was 12, so that's why the way it is. And then 2 weeks later, you're like, oh, yeah, my dad left at 12. 2 weeks after that, oh yeah, my dad left at 12. It's like, yeah, we know. Why do you keep bringing it up? You're bringing it up so that when you check them and you say, hey, your behavior is less than your potential, your behavior is less than what's acceptable, they go back and say, hey, you should know that my dad left at 12, therefore I get to be dysfunctional for the rest of my life. And again, I had one to start with. I met a young man, we're the same age, years ago, and he told me, and it's a sad story. That's the thing, it's always going to be a sad story. But he said his first memory was his sister opened the back door of their house and telling him to run as fast as he could, and his dad chasing him drunk, trying to beat him, and he was maybe 4 years old. That was his first memory. Barefoot, middle of Texas, 2 o'clock in the morning, older sister saying, go run for your life. That was his first memory, right? When I heard that, I was heartbroken, because my dad would never do something like that. I wasn't around that type of lifestyle, and I had sympathy for his situation. However, I heard that same exact story at least 4 more times that 1 month, and I'm like, wait a second. I really want to hear that twice. You're saying it as if it's like a song lyric almost. Ooh. Like you're just rehearsing it. And I'm like, does that hurt you to say it? Because you don't seem like it hurts anymore. And I started looking at him and analyzing the situation, and it wasn't a, let me tell you what happened so you understand me. It's, let me tell you what happened so you give me permission to be who I am. That's what it was. And again, after a while, it's like, okay, you no longer want to heal from that memory. You want that memory to justify why you don't have to develop as a human being. And that's not good.
Yes. That is so true, because like you said you're a words person, so am I. And I've fallen in love with people's stories and people's words and even their trauma,
right,
unfortunately. And it's like, well, I don't want to be another person that hurts them. You know what I'm saying?
So it turned to guilt for you.
Yes.
Like a guilt trip. Like, yes. Everyone leaves me, you're going to leave me too? So.
Right. And it's like, that was so unhealthy, because the people I was previously involved with were people that were in love with the story and didn't want to heal and grow and evolve. And so it absolutely, unfortunately, becomes a manipulation.
Oh yeah. And after a while, because again, I'm not the type to go out and find relationships, so the downside to that is that I can be naive when I do decide to forge a relationship. And I had to learn through that one and subsequent relationships is that there's a lot of sociopaths out here walking around just manipulating the hell out of whoever. And they know, they may not consciously say this, but they know like there's 300 million people in America, and they can scam all of them for at least a couple dollars. A couple couches to sleep on, a couple one night stands, a couple this, a couple that. It's like, you don't have to, if you're married to your trauma, you don't have to make new relationships because you're already married.
Woo!
And so you can just go have affairs with everyone that you meet and just keep going and going. You're already
Golly.
You know what I mean? I'm going to take this memory, this core memory, marry it. It's killing me the whole entire time, literally.
Jeez.
And because it's killing me, I'm going to push it away for a while because we're in an abusive relationship with myself.
Wow.
I'm going to get in a good relationship for however long it takes, 2 hours, 2 days, 2 weeks, 2 years. Sabotage that, remarry, or get back with my trauma and go on with the next thing.
Oh my God.
Because those type of people, they know everyone. They're very social.
Wow.
And they move in a circle or an area for a while until they destroy every single relationship that's in that area and they move somewhere else.
So true. It's so destructive not to heal.
No.
It's so destructive to normalize abuse and trauma and dysfunction.
Yeah.
You know, and not just for your own sake, you know, for anybody you say you love sake.
Right.
Absolutely heal. And so I would say that would be our second takeaway, is do whatever it takes to heal. And I mean prayer, fasting, counseling, confession, reading books, forging relationships with people that have success in the area or have stability or normalcy, godliness, goodness in an area where you never saw.
Yeah.
Those things are absolutely imperative to do.
If you're ISO, make relationships. If you're a social butterfly, go into a period of isolation. Because a lot of times, whatever you're used to is what keeps you in your trauma in the first place. It's like you're sitting there, happy-go-lucky, saying hi to everyone, so that you don't have to have a conversation with yourself. That's really what that was. And on the opposite side, it's like, oh, I don't need anyone. It's just me. Everyone's a certain type of way. It's like, really? You're the only righteous person in the whole world? Like, you're the only good person in the whole world? You can't meet one other person that's a good person? You know what I mean? It's like that, again, the story, you're so attached to the story, where it's like, the inner logic of that story doesn't make sense to anyone except you. You make it make sense, but when you tell someone else, they're like, wait a second, I'm a good person. Hey, right. What do you mean? It's just you. You know what I mean? It's like, it takes isolation for some stuff to fester, and it takes socialization for other stuff to fester. It just depends on who you are.
Once again.